The intersection of Scranton and South Park in Hamburg will never be the same for Alyssa Gettenfurtner.
Oh, I haven't been able to drive past it without stopping and getting out.
It's the place where she lost the closest thing she had to a sister.
I freeze, my stomach, it felt like it dropped, like on a roller coaster.
26-year-old Casey Nolder was on her way home from work at the final day of the Erie County Fair.
We're hearing from the mother of a young woman in Hamburg who was run over and killed on Sunday night.
This busy intersection at South Park Avenue and Scranton Road is where 26-year-old Casey Nolder lost her life Sunday night. Barbara Reese says her daughter Casey Nolder just finished her last shift at the Erie County Fair that night. Like so many times before, Nolder hopped on her electric scooter and headed to a friend's house.
And when she didn't show up on time, she checked the GPS and found that she was still at the corner of South Park and Scranton.
Reese says her daughter was bumped off her scooter at that intersection. She tells us around 10:20 p.m. a separate vehicle traveling south ran her daughter over.
August 20th, 2023 was the last day of the Erie County Fair, which my daughter worked at the fair for last 5 years for the same company. And she rode a scooter rather than driving her car because 2 years prior, her car got damaged in the parking lot. And so she parked at a friend's house, and this past year, she took her scooter back and forth. And it worked out great every day until the 12th day, when she was on her way back from the fairgrounds, and she was struck at the corner of Scranton and South Park by one vehicle, and subsequently run over by a second vehicle, and that's when she was killed.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Can you tell us a little bit about Casey?
She was amazing. I mean, everybody's gonna say that about their child, but Casey was pretty special. 26, just would light up the room when she walked in. She was caring and compassionate. She would do anything for anyone, total stranger, a friend. She loved unconditionally. And she was greatly missed by a lot. Her death impacted the community a great deal.
So Barb, following Casey's death, what motivated you to take that grief and so quickly turn it into activism? What sort of steps did you take? What was your mindset at that time?
Just the lack of safety. I mean, after her death, I just became more hyper aware of traffic and the way people drive. And I would see more people on bicycles riding on sidewalks instead of on the street. Riding facing traffic, walking or riding a bike facing traffic instead of, which is the law, is to go with traffic. Mm-hmm. But then again, the DMV has a saying that says, see and be seen. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that was what Casey was doing. The shoulder of the road on South Park is 6 feet wide. You would think that's enough space to be safe, no matter which direction you're going. But the intersection there is too wide, and it's a single lane road, but it's wide enough for two cars to be side by side. Mm-hmm. You know, people cross over the fog lane all the time, and that's how she initially got hit.
So it really speaks a lot to the infrastructure,
yes,
to behaviors surrounding that infrastructure.
Yeah, car drivers need to realize that they don't own the road. You know, it has to be shared with pedestrians, people on scooters, bicycles, senior citizens in their electric scooters. I see them going down the road all the time. Lake Avenue in Blaisdell, as you know, has had 3 fatalities in 4 years because of the unsafe driving habits people have. Mm-hmm. And it's just getting worse. And there are more people now, after COVID, that use alternate transportation than ever before. And that's gonna continue.
And there's a stigma associated if you're outside of a car people stigmatize folks who are outside of a vehicle as, oh, maybe you can't afford it, maybe you're this, you're that,
Right.
and it's so damaging because those people are treated as lesser than by drivers, by even municipalities. Drivers are really kind of put on a pedestal as far as the safety that will provide for vehicles.
Right.
When we've got all these vulnerable road users also sharing those spaces.
And I guess years ago, the drive when it came to infrastructure building was to get cars from A to B as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to change.
Yeah.
It really has to change. Having, we need more bike paths. If bikes have to follow the same direction as a car, then there needs to be a lane for the bikes.
Yeah. Separation.
Yes. And that's important. And that's when I started going to the town hall meetings. And I'm twice a month, every month in September, October, November, December, and asking the board for their help to do something to make it safer for the community. And in December, they put in for the grant with the New York State Department of Transportation. And 6 months later, which I don't think is that long,
Not at all.
considering that they were granted the $2.8 million
2.8
for the South Park project. The engineering department is working on the plans now for that project. They're looking at bike path and a sidewalk on the northbound side of the road and a crosswalk at Scranton.
That's a pretty incredible legacy.
Yeah, and it's New York State owns the road. So the decision came from New York State's grant. So that is, that and the town working together to make this project happen.
And I know it wasn't just you, it was a lot of Casey's other family members, friends.
Yes, yeah, we did a, prior to even knowing that we were going to get the grant, in March, May, we did a walk audit. And there was 30 people that came, and it was all family and friends. And we had 4 teams of people that walked up and down South Park and documented all of the problems.
Yeah.
And it's not just sidewalks and bike paths too, the bus stops. There's a bus stop that's at the end of somebody's driveway and a ditch. There's nowhere to stand for the bus.
Yeah.
Unless you're on private property, and that's not fair to the homeowner.
Yeah.
There's another one on the southbound side of the road that's on a telephone pole at least 7 feet away in the woods, like in the shrubbery.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's no...
Lucky if the bus could see you in the best of circumstances.
Exactly. And there's railroad tracks,
Yeah.
The issues going on with that. So there's just things that need to be looked at. Unfortunately, somebody had to die before anybody got the attention that it needs. It took my fight and my determination to keep pushing and keep pushing.
Absolutely. It's a testament to love, to the power of people showing up for one another and of saying, I'm a citizen, I'm a resident. These are my streets, these are our streets, and it takes a community to keep each other safe like that.
Yep. And because of my passion and dedication, I was also asked to join the Hamburg Moves group.
Yep.
Which is just area residents that kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Which I really didn't know that at first. I just thought it was a resident community rep people that had the same drive and determination and wanted to make change happen. And then as I got to know these people, I realized each one of them had something going on. Their own project, like me. Not to the extreme of mine, but that's how they got involved as well.
Yeah.
So,
what do you tell those other folks who want to see change happen, but they might be too intimidated to go to a town board meeting or things like that?
You can't be intimidated. You gotta go. You gotta go, and you can't be angry either. The town board is there to help you, to help its citizens. They're hired by the citizens to work for the citizens. They're there for us.
Tell us a little about Casey's Corner and what you guys are doing
Well,
to
that's kind of
keep all of that?
That's a funny thing. The name Casey's Corner just kind of came about because that's what we started referring to the corner as when the memorial was growing and becoming so beautiful. And basically, Casey's Corner just became a group of family and friends that want to see change happen in our community, and want our community members to be safe, and our kids to be safe, our elderly to be safe. People should be able to ride a bike or walk down the street and not be afraid that they're going to get hit by a car.
It shouldn't be a lot to ask, right?
Right. It should, yeah, you should. It's not much to ask.
It's not much
people
to ask.
Just be considerate.
Everyone's each other's neighbors.
That's true.
You know, we're all in each other's care.
And we all in this together,
Absolutely.
whether you like it or not.
Do you have any advice for families that might be in a similar situation and don't really know where to start?
Start with your town. Start with your, local. Your local. I mean, the police can tell you who to go to, who you can turn to.
Yeah.
And there's support groups and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, to make change happen, you have to make change yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta push until it happens. And persistency will get you there. I didn't know about grants, didn't know how it was gonna get paid for it, but I just knew it needed to be done.
Yep. Let that other stuff figure itself out and do what you can to affect
Right.
change.
Yes.
Yep.